now.
All right, class, so we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday, still discussing the themes in Hatchet, our book Hatchet. Do you guys remember what theme in particular we're talking about? There's many themes in the book, right? We discussed that yesterday. There's tons of different themes, but you guys remember, by show of hands, the actual theme that we're going to be talking about today? Rachel?
It's water.
Water is part of it.
Rebirth.
Rebirth, or how else could you say rebirth? That's good.
Transformation.
Rebirth, transformation.
You have
Michael, do you have anything else to add?
No.
All right, those are two good things for a life-changing experience, right?
Yeah.
Because we know our main character, Brian, went through a life-changing experience, a rebirth, or a transformation. Okay, so the goal for today's lesson, lesson today, is we are going to reflect on something that has been life-changing for us and how it changed us afterwards. So we're going to make a T-chart, and we're going to talk about our characteristics of our personality and well-being and things like that before whether it be an accident or something exciting. It doesn't have to be anything tragic like in Brian's case. And we're going to analyze how we were before the incident and how we were after. Okay? So the goal for the lesson today is to analyze ourselves before and after a life-changing event. Alright, so first, before we jump all the way into that, I want to show you a quick video. Alright? Maybe a little before your guys' time, but Who Wants to Be a Millionaire used to be a really popular game show, first in the UK, and now...
Make sure you turn it up there.
And now in the United States. So we're going to watch this quickly. It's only 3-minute video, if it loads. And where's my volume's up to 4.
$1 million and all your lifelines intact. You didn't need those stinking lifelines, did you? Well, let me just bring you up to date.
Please.
If you miss, you'll be reduced by $468,000. You'll go back down to $32,000. Here it is, a $1 million question. We rarely see these here. Only one other contestant has ever won $500,000 on our show. So if you're ready, let's go for the million. Which of these U.S. presidents appeared on the television series Laughing? Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, Jimmy Carter, Gerald Ford.
I'd like to call my parents right now.
Sure.
Use my lifeline, call my parents.
What are their names?
My father. I'll talk to my father.
Does he have a name?
He does have a name.
Our friends at AT&T will get your dad on the line, and we'll see if he can help you.
Hello?
Hello, Tom.
Yeah.
Hi, Regis Philbin here from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Hi.
We've got your son John with us right now. He's doing pretty well.
Good.
He's won $500 million.
Wow.
And he's going for $1 million. And he needs your help to get there.
Okay.
So, he's going to come on the line, read a question, 4 possible answers. One of them is the right answer. And the next voice you'll hear will be John's. John, you've got 30 seconds. Cards right now.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
I don't really need your help. I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to win $1 million. Because the U.S. president appeared on Laughing as Richard Nixon, that's my final answer.
Well, my gosh. What can I say except, Debbie, you're going to Paris, so this is the final answer heard all around the world. He's won $1 million.
All right, so by show of hands, do you think that constitutes a life-changing experience? Yes?
Yeah.
That's right, absolutely, okay. So his life before winning the $1 million is probably going to be a little different than afterwards, right? In terms of what he can afford financially, places he may go, things he may do for his family and kids, okay? So, I just wanted to show you that real life clip. I want you guys to get out a piece of paper and I will show you how to make a T-chart. You'll just do so with your paper. I'll just do so on the computer here. So, we're going to do one quickly for Brian, and then we're going to do one for ourselves. Okay, so this is where Brian, okay, and we're going to have his before. And after. Okay, and first, before we get that, so go ahead and label your T-chart before and after like that, and you can just draw out vertical and horizontal. Okay, so firstly, what was the life-changing event that we're specifically talking about here for Brian? Rachel?
When he crashed into the water and then he got out of the lake.
Okay. So his plane crash, we'll just mark it as a plane crash, okay? Definitely life-changing event. Okay, and we're going to talk about metaphor. Do you guys remember what a metaphor is, Michael?
A metaphor is something that when you say one thing but mean another.
Right, so you're comparing something, and it's different from a simile where you compare something using like or as, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so the metaphor that we're going to be focusing on is, Rachel, do you remember what it was from yesterday? We briefly discussed it in the class. The metaphor we'll be using.
No.
That triggered, okay, that's okay. The metaphor is going to be the water, and it's a word that he already talked about, the
jeez.
rebirth.
I already
Right.
knew that.
Yeah, it's okay. You should just said it. It's all right. All right. So the water being his rebirth, right? As and you know, it means two different things for the different characters in the story, right? For the pilot, the water meant death. The pilot did not make it. For Brian, he lived after his plane crashed. He emerged from the water, and from there on out, the water was his way to sustain life, basically, to get to his life-changing experience. He survived it. Well, after he survived the plane crash, he has to survive in the woods on his own, and the water sustained life. Right? Gave him food, water, and everything else. Okay. So those are the two things we're going to identify when we do our life-changing event. We're going to find our water, so where we had a rebirth or change, or something that helps sustain life for us to get to the after. Okay. Are there any questions? Does that make sense? Are you sure, Rachel? Okay, yeah, okay. So, together, this is Brian. So, how was Brian, just characteristics, what was his life like before the plane crash?
He seemed like a city boy.
He was, okay, maybe a city boy.
Mom's a city boy.
Rachel?
He didn't. He was going to his dad's
He was visiting
house,
his dad.
so he didn't have a good relationship with his dad.
Okay. Just keep throwing things out, anything you can think of.
He ate a lot of food.
Yeah. He had access to lots of food, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I don't know if he was fat or whatever, but
We'll change it. Okay, he had
he
access.
had a lot of food. Yeah.
A lot of food. Who did he live with, Michael?
His mom.
He lived with his mom, so he wasn't on his own, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a few things. Okay, now how did his life change after he was rescued? After he had went through living in the wild on his own, he was finally rescued. What is he? Now we don't get to see exactly what his life is like because the book kind of ends, right?
Mhm.
But we can make assumptions, okay, based on the things that he went through, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so another list. How do you think his life is like now that he survived, Rachel?
Well, I think that he is more self-sufficient.
Does everybody know what that means?
He's able to
Self-sufficient.
take care of himself.
Yes, he can take care of himself as own well-being because he did so in the wild, right? That's something he didn't have to do before, right? He had his mom to kind of take care of him. You know, he's not an adult, but he kind of grew up, right?
Yeah.
Some people say that when he comes out of the water, he was reborn as a man
Mm-hmm.
because he had to survive. I mean, you know, when times get tough, you have to survive. What else, Michael? How else do you think is like? What do you think his life is like now?
He was definitely more independent.
Self-sufficient, independent, yes. They go hand in hand, right? Couple more. What else, Rachel? What do you think?
Well, probably he's like a hoarder now for food.
Hoarder?
A food hoarder.
Wow, that's something I never thought of because he didn't have a lot of food on the island. In the wild. Whether or not that's true, that's a really good assumption based on his experience in the wild. I mean,
What can I say?
Very good. Way to think outside the box and out of the realm of the teacher's capabilities at this point in time. Michael, do you have one more to add?
He is probably more helpful and appreciative
Of what?
of what his mom does for him.
Family, friends, and just his general surroundings, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Do you think he ever goes camping anymore?
If he does, I wonder if he actually would bring anything with him. I wonder if he would actually pack anything if he does, or if it was so traumatic that he just doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I didn't think he thought of it as a traumatic event though, because he became one with the wild. It seemed like.
Okay. See, so Michael Bradford thinks he doesn't think it's traumatic, but it was kind of spiritual because he came one with the wild. That's definitely another way to look at it too. That's the best thing about English and reading. You can interpret the book however you want. There's so many different themes in this. We're just choosing one, okay? So now I'm going to have you do, now that you've seen an example, is everybody with me here so far as to what we are going to be doing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what we're going to be doing. So you're going to pick a life-changing event. It can be anything. The birth of your brother, your sister, the time that you made the basketball team, maybe you made a game-winning shot, anything that has impacted you and changed your life. And just, quick bullet points of how you were before and how you were after. Okay? And then, as the lesson continues, we'll probably start this tomorrow or maybe the day after, depending on where we are. We are going to write a personal narrative. Okay? And we're going to use the attributes and qualities from the before and after to write our narrative. So our narrative is going to be about a life-changing event. And what you bullet point down today are going to be some of the examples that you give of your life before and after, how it affected you, what it means, and how it's important. So individually, I want you guys to write down, just 4 or 5 for right now. We'll make a bigger list of qualities before and after, and I want you to make sure you label the life-changing event and our metaphor of water. Okay, what was your water? Okay, so I'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that, and then we'll reconvene. Or actually, you guys can just kind of raise your hand when you guys are ready, just so I know, and we'll move on when everybody's ready. About 30 seconds, guys. For time purposes.
That's the fastest 5 minutes ever.
Just time purposes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Rachel, I'm going to choose you because I saw a lot of writing here. What is your life-changing event?
When I was in like 5th grade, I was at camp and I was on the dock. See, mine actually has to do with water, which is not intentional. And I was at camp on the dock, and there was these popular camp girls, and they were pushing everybody into the water, and I don't like to be pushed in the water. They tried to push me in the water, and so I elbowed one of them in the gut and told them to leave me alone, and she said that she had an ulcer, but I think she was lying because she was 12. And then I dove in the water, and I was like, screw you guys.
Okay.
And that's my life-changing event.
Okay. So what was your water here? Where was your rebirth? What event or what action or what?
It was that like moment that I was like, I don't want to put up with this anymore. Just,
So as soon as
solar
you
plexus.
gave her, you gave her the rock,
I
the
did.
people's elbow right there,
I
in the
did.
sternum or whatever. that was your life-changing experience. That was
Yeah.
your that literally your rebirth as soon as it happened.
Yep.
Okay.
And